wanted to use
really sure.
We should acknowledge that our history is marred by discrimination against gays and lesbians. There was once a time when our federal government not only banned the hiring of gay employees, it required private contractors to identify and fire them. Some laws prohibited gays from being served in bars and restaurants. And many cities carried out law enforcement efforts targeting gay Americans. Fortunately, we've come a long way since then. Many committed gay and lesbian couples feel humiliated by the law's failures to recognize their relationship as a marriage. And supporters of same-sex marriage argue that laws banning same-sex marriage are discrimination. I respect their arguments, and I would concede that they pose a legitimate question for lawmakers and for society. But there's another side of this debate. You see, thousands of years of human history have shown that the ideal setting for children to grow up is with a mother and a father committed to one another, living together, and sharing the responsibility of raising their children. And since traditional marriage has such an extraordinary record of success at raising children into strong and successful adults, states in our country have long elevated this institution and set it apart in our laws. And this is the definition of marriage that I personally support. Not because I seek to discriminate against people who love someone of the same sex, but because I believe that the union of one man and one woman is a special relationship that has proven to be of great benefit to our society, our nation, and our people, and there deserves to be elevated in our laws. Now today, public opinion polls show that there's a growing acceptance in society of the idea that marriage should be redefined to include the union of two adults of the same sex. And as a result, you've seen a number of state legislatures change the laws to redefine marriage. States have always regulated marriage in America, and state legislatures have a right, a constitutional right, to change those regulations. But that right to define and regulate marriage is a two-way street. A majority of states still have laws that define marriage as one man and one woman. And in some, like my home state of Florida, voters place that definition in our state constitution. And just as states have the right to redefine marriage to include same-sex marriage, they also have a right to continue to define it as one man and one woman. But now, all across this country, we have judges overturning state laws and defining marriage and redefining marriage from the bench. Just last week in my home state, a local judge overturned the decision of Florida's voters to define marriage as one man and one woman. Those who support same-sex marriage have a right to lobby their state legislature to change their state laws. But Americans like myself who support keeping the traditional definition of marriage also have a right to work to keep traditional definition of marriage in our laws without seeing them overturned by a judge. Our nation has, in the past, demonstrated a tremendous capacity to work through issues like this, and I believe we'll do it again. But doing so will require those of us who support traditional marriage to respect those who support same-sex marriage. But it will also require those who support same-sex marriage to respect those of us who support traditional marriage. Because tolerance is also a two-way street. However, today there is a growing intolerance on this issue. Intolerance towards those who continue to support traditional marriage. We've seen the push to remove the CEO of Mozilla because in 2008 he made a small donation to support Proposition 8 in California, which would have upheld the traditional definition of marriage. We've seen the CEO of Starbucks tell a shareholder who supports traditional marriage that he should sell his shares and invest in some other company. We've seen Chick-fil-A attacked and boycotted due to its CEO giving an honest answer to a question regarding his deeply held religious beliefs. And I promise you that even before this speech is over, I'll be attacked as a hater or a bigot or as someone who's anti-gay. This intolerance in the name of tolerance is hypocrisy. Supporting the definition of marriage as one man and one woman is not anti-gay. It is pro-traditional marriage. And if support for traditional marriage is bigotry, then Barack Obama was a bigot until just before the 2012 election.